another day of the week. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. And do you guys know what the worst part of my job is? It's a pretty damn good job. I do these sports videos in my basement, so I don't have a whole lot to complain about. But the worst thing about this job is that your failures are on display for the entire world to see, and then you got to come and answer, talk about it the next day. And absolute bloodbath for your boy there last night. 0-5 with my picks. I told you guys
we suck again.
Yeah, well, I suck. It's an all or nothing sports show, as I told you guys before. Nothing for me, all for Iain. Iain swept his picks. 4-0 for him, so we'll give Iain a shout out for that. I got reverse cowgirl though. 0-5 with my picks. So what are you going to do? Complain about it a little bit, I guess. But we are going to look to bounce back here. We're not going to hide from it. Plus, I'm contractually obligated to come and do this show every day. So I'm not going to hide and run from this shit, guys. We're going to look to bounce back here today. 6 total bets. A lot to talk about. NBA playoffs, NHL, Major League Baseball. Before we get into that action, though, do me a favor. If you like the show, let us know. It's easy. Just hit that like button right down there. Hit that subscribe button as well. It lets us know that you like the show. If you don't like the show, let us know why in the comments section or the live chat. I got a thick skin. I can handle it. Okay, so let's look to bounce back here. Enough of this bullshit. Hopefully we get some breaks. We're owed a little bit of luck here tonight, God damn it. So let's get right in to the action. We're going to start things off in the NBA. The New York Knicks in Cleveland, looking to go up 2-0 on Cavs. I don't know about winning outright, but I like the Knicks. My favorite underdog of the night in the NBA. Plus 6.5 over at BetMGM this morning. Oh, over this one. So, no other way about it. They've had Cleveland's number here this season. They've now won 4 straight games against the Cavs. They were an underdog in all 4 of those games, and the Knicks have absolutely dominated them on the glass this season. So they out-rebounded them by 13 in game 1 and by 15 in 2 separate games during the regular season. Rebounding is an area where the Cavs really struggled down the stretch of the regular season. They gave up a lot of offensive rebounds, whereas grabbing offensive boards and limiting them is a major strength of the Knicks. Big question going into this one, can the Cavs get anything from their bench? They got 14 measly points out of their bench in game 1 compared to 37 from the Knicks. Donovan Mitchell can't do everything, but the Knicks being much deeper, even with Josh Hart likely out, I think at the very least they can keep this one close. Give me the Knicks to cover plus 6.5. All right, next up we go out to the West Coast for a player prop. You're going to target Kawhi Leonard. I like to go over his point total of 28.5 points, coming in with odds of -106. So playoff Kawhi is different. This is no secret. This is a guy who obviously turns it up a notch in the playoffs. This is joining the Clippers. He's averaged 29.9 points per game in the playoffs, up to number 28.5 on 16 occasions in 25 games. His minutes in these games are way up compared to the regular season. This is why he load manages. We all hate load management, but he does it for a reason. He's averaging 39.4 minutes per game in the playoffs. Did over 41 minutes in game 1. That's way up from his regular season average this season of 33.6 minutes. I expect to see him on the free throw line a lot. 10 free throw attempts in game 1. Phoenix is a team that really struggles to keep opponents off the line in the regular season's final weeks. 29th in opponent free throw attempt rate for the last 15 games of the regular season. Give me Kawhi over 28.5 points. All right, next up, we're off to the ice. NHL playoffs. Pretty exciting first night of action in the NHL playoffs. So let's get right into this battle of New York, New Jersey. Who do you think I'm going to go with? CTP, darling. Give me New Jersey. The Devils coming in at -130 at home in this one. So dig into the numbers. Big analytics gap favoring the Devils over the last 10 games of the regular season. Devils, top 5 in expected goals for percentage, high danger chances for percentage, Corsi for percentage. Rangers were below average in each of these categories. Of course, in net here, Igor Shesterkin. Rangers rely way too much on this guy, and some red flags for him coming into this game and into this series. Wasn't good versus the Devils this season, a 3.23 goals against average. New York went just 1-3 in these games. And he played some of the worst hockey of his career in last year's opening round series versus the Penguins. Now, we did settle in as the playoffs went on, but something to keep an eye on, as his goals against average in the playoffs was about a half of a goal higher compared to the regular season last year. In net for the Devils, Vitek Vanacek, the pride of the Czech Republic. This guy has been absolutely lights out at home. A 2.25 goals against average and 914 save percentage. He comes in especially hot at home, with just 5 total goals allowed in his last 4 home starts, all resulting in wins for the Devils. Give me New Jersey. They got to a 1-0 series lead tonight. Woo! All right, over to the Diamond, where we go down to beautiful Miami, the San Francisco Giants in town. First 5 total bet for me. The number set at 4. I absolutely love. Boom! The over in this one. So let's dig into this. Giants absolutely obliterating right-handed pitching out of the gate here this season. They're facing Edward Cabrera. They rank 2nd in OPS and WRC plus versus righties on the season. Maybe a bit surprising with the second point. Good numbers versus left-handed pitching for the Marlins. They got Alex Wood tonight. They're 9th in OPS and WRC plus versus lefties. 6th versus lefties at home. And each starter allowing a lot of traffic here. Cabrera comes into action with a 197 whip. A lot of walks for him. Alex Wood, perhaps due to get lit up, or at least bit a little bit here. He has a 1.57 whip through 2 starts. Don't be surprised to see the Marlins get a few across against him. Give me over 4 in the first 5 innings between the Giants and the Marlins. All right, let's go out to the West Coast. Good-looking game here. The Padres playing host to the Braves. I'm going to take Atlanta. First 5 inning money line coming in at -140. So look who is on the man here for the Padres. None other than Blake Snell. Great, thank you very much. And it's been another rough start to a season for Blake Snell. He got absolutely destroyed to open the season last season, and that's the case again this year, as he has a 6.92 ERA through 3 starts, along with a sky-high whip of 215. Bad matchup for him here because the Braves are absolutely crushing left-handed pitching. 3rd in OPS on the season versus lefties. They also come in hot. Ranked 3rd in OPS over the last week. The Padres, however, are not hot. They face Spencer Strider. Padres hitters are slumping, 25th in OPS over the past week. Just average versus right-handed pitching on the season, too. Give me the Braves, first 5, -140. All right, let's wrap things up with the player prop for this big Cubs-A's game that everybody is talking about. And look who's on the bump here for the A's. Ken Waldichuk. Do we have any Ken Waldichuk fans watching the program today? Now, we faded this guy last week. We took over 2.5 earned runs. Guess what? We're going right back to the well, goddammit. Earned runs set at 2.5. Give us the over, -115. He's getting absolutely shit-canned this season. A 10.20 ERA, a 9.52 FIP, a 193 whip through 3 starts. The A's are just throwing warm bodies out there. They do not give a shit. This is a bad matchup for Waldichuk because the Cubs are red hot at the plate. They lead Major League Baseball in OPS over the past week. They're 4th in OPS versus lefties for the entire season. Give me Waldichuk over 2.5 earned runs. Woo! Woo! All right, there we have it. 6 total picks across the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball. If you guys like something, let us know about it. Drop it in the comment section below or hit up the live chat if you're watching the show live right now. So if you're looking to get some bets in tonight, especially that Knicks plus 6.5, it was 6 at a lot of other books. BetMGM has it at 6.5. I recommend placing your action over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about them. The king of sportsbooks. Sign up with BetMGM using the promo code VIBonus. and get a first bet offer up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. That's VI bonus, all one word, no spaces, for a first bet offer of $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. Just use that code VI bonus. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older to wager. Offer is for new customers only. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Go! All right. Quick shout out to the live chat. Jigglypuff and Savvy Vivo and Tito in there, producer Tito. Boys in there shooting the shit, talking their favorite leans for tonight's action. So good luck to the fellas there in the live chat. Okay, so let's get into a little top 5 list here I put together with the playoffs here in both the NBA and the NHL, and we're always talking Major League Baseball and Super Bowl futures. I put together a list of the top 5 franchises that are the most desperate to win a championship. So obviously we're going to factor the history of those franchises into this. And part of the criteria for making this list, you have to be an actual contender to qualify for my list. So the top 5 franchises that are the most desperate to win a championship. Coming in at number 5, it is the New York Yankees from Major League Baseball. So let's take a look at the Yankees. They'd be higher on this list, but their championship drought isn't as long as some of the others. Still, though, they haven't won or appeared in a World Series since 2009, despite making the playoffs 10 times since. 10 times since. And despite having, usually one of the largest payrolls in Major League Baseball, one of the most star-studded lineups, they just can't get over that hump. They're always among the favorites to win the World Series, but always flop when the games matter most. They got the weight of the world on their shoulders every October, and they just can't respond. They come in right now, as of today, they have the second best odds at plus 750 to win the World Series. Do not waste your money. So 4th on my list for the teams, franchises in North American pro sports that are the most desperate to win a championship is the Dallas Cowboys. So speaking of flopping, the Dallas Cowboys, so-called America's team, apparently. Are you kidding me? Give me a break. America's team. So they've been dining out on winning 3 Super Bowls in the early 90s here for a while now. But since then, they haven't even gotten past the divisional round. We're talking 27 years that this team hasn't gotten past the divisional round. That is rough. They have more appearances on Hard Knocks than NFC Championship game appearances since 1995. A lot of back-breaking losses with Tony Romo, of course. Now we're seeing it with Dak Prescott. Just boneheaded head coaching. From Jason Garrett over to Mike McCarthy. They have the 6th best odds to win the Super Bowl as of today. Do not waste your money. So number 3 on my list of North American pro sports teams that are most desperate to win a championship, it is the Philadelphia 76ers. So a lot of big-time stars have come and gone out of this franchise since the last time they won a championship. All the way back in 1983. They like to present themselves as some sort of iconic, historic franchise, but all I've seen is a history of choking and not showing up in big games. They haven't even reached the conference finals for 20 years now. They're the Kings of one and done in the playoffs since Iverson took them to the conference finals. They have 6 first-round series wins. But then they go into the second round and they just fold like a cheap suit when the competition rises. So they have the 4th best odds to win the NBA championship at plus 850. Do not waste your money. Coming in at number 2 on my list, teams most desperate to win a championship. We go back to the NFL for this one, and we go to Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills. We all know the story of the Buffalo Bills. They went to the Super Bowl 4 straight years in the 90s, and they lost in 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s. This is a franchise, a fan base that has a lot of swagger to them, despite not accomplishing anything at all. In 2021, they want to blame a coin for coming up short. You can't blame a coin for what happened last season. Congrats on being the favorite to win the Super Bowl for about 90% of the season, then completely no-showing at home versus the Cincinnati Bengals, losing 27-10. They are tied for the 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl. Do not waste your money. And number 1 on my list, the teams in North American pro sports that are most desperate to win a championship. It isn't even close. This is a team that begins their playoff run here tonight. The team I'm talking about is the Toronto Maple Leafs. So this is not an exaggeration. The city of Toronto would shut down if the Maple Leafs were to win the Stanley Cup, something they haven't accomplished since 1967. 1967. Let me tell you why this is such an incredible disgrace. The Leafs are a big deal. They are the NHL's answer to the Yankees, to the Clippers, to the Cowboys. They have an insane fan base. They sell out every game. No problem. Overpriced tickets, yet it's letdown after letdown after letdown after letdown. They blow more 3-1 leads in the playoffs than they have playoff series wins in the last 20 years. Just back-breaking defeats for this team. And the crazy thing about it is their fans keep coming back year after year after year after having their hearts absolutely shattered, blowing 3-1 series leads. A couple months later, new season set to begin. The fans come back. This is our year. Then it happens all over again. They get their hearts shattered once again. So they had the 3rd best odds to win the Stanley Cup as of today at plus 900. Do not waste your money. Some honorable mention teams in here that are the most desperate to win a championship. I'm going to put the New York Mets on there. They haven't won one in a while. They're spending a lot of money. They're getting very desperate. The Knicks, they haven't won one in forever. They haven't really been a contender, though, so they don't make the top 5. The Jets, picking on New York a little bit here. Now, the Jets have been a disgrace for the most part, but they're coming into the season. If they get Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be top 7, 8 on that odds board to win the Super Bowl. Then you got to take a look at a team like the Edmonton Oilers in the NHL. Complete dynasty with Gretzky and Messier and those guys in the 80s. They haven't really done anything since. They do have the best player in hockey, Connor McDavid. They haven't been able to do anything with that. Then over in the NBA, the Suns and the Clippers. The Suns, maybe a bit of a snake-bitten franchise, but they went all in on Kevin Durant here, gave up a lot of their future. We'll see what happens there. And the Clippers, they completely bent over backwards to bring Kawhi Leonard and Paul George in. Hasn't really gotten them anywheres either. So 2 desperate teams are out of the Western Conference who play here tonight. So that is my list of the 5 most desperate franchises to win a championship in North American pro sports. So other betting news here out of the NFL draft. So we touched on this last week. Looks like a foregone conclusion here that Bryce Young is going to be the top pick in the draft here this year. He's now minus 1,400 to go number 1 overall to Carolina. I think it was just, 2 weeks ago that he was plus money to go first overall. But it looks like he's going to go to Carolina here. And here's the thing. I think this sets up pretty good for Bryce Young to go to Carolina. Usually the quarterback that goes number 1 overall, or any quarterback that goes in the top 10 really, they have to go into a shitty situation where a bunch of no-name receivers. But Panthers have done a pretty good job of building this team up to bring in a young quarterback. A lot of veterans here. Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Hayden Hurst. You can make fun of Andy Dalton. You don't want him as your starter, but he's not a bad backup there to support a young guy. A pretty passive dude there. So, yeah, I think that sets up pretty good for Bryce Young to go to the Panthers, minus 1,400. Now, more interesting news out of the draft here. So, a lot of people are assuming, okay, Bryce Young, it looks like he's going to go number 1 now. So, that means C.J. Stroud probably going to get picked by the Houston Texans. Not so fast. Number 2, the favorite to go number 2 is Will Anderson at plus 150 right now to the Houston Texans, who are apparently, who knows if they're just posturing or they're kind of putting it out there in the media that they might be interested in trading the pick. Who knows? Maybe teams aren't completely sold on CJ Stroud right now. He seems to be dropping. He was around minus 300 at one point there. But yeah. Doesn't look like we'll have much more intrigue with the number 1 overall pick here for the NFL draft. On Monday of next week, the week of the draft, Ian and I are going to have our favorite bets for the NFL draft. So make sure you check that out then. Okay, guys, it is now time for today's Handicapper Heat Check presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Brian Bittler continued his hot streak with another perfect night, going 2-0, bringing his all sports run to 11-0 in the last 4 days. He's absolutely crushing it. Zach Cimini hit 8 straight MLB winners, and Nick Parsons swept the board with a perfect 3-0 record last night. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for tonight's top plays. All right. That does it here for today, guys. Be right back tomorrow with Kevin Rogers will be joining me. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow morning celebrating a winning day and not getting reverse swept, because that absolutely sucks. Makes for a hard night sleeping, makes for a hard morning, but hey, that's part of this crazy business that I work in, right? So make sure you join me tomorrow. Thank you to producer Tito behind the scenes producing today. Thank you, dear viewer, for checking us out. Best of luck with your bets tonight, unless, of course, you are fading me. And as always, keep chasing that paper. What? Yeah!